Welcome everyone to BaconBeercan Flexes. This is where I show off and review all the stuff I've bought over the years. So what we have here today, it's Rathalos from Monster Hunter. And since Monster Hunter Rises came out recently, so I figured, hey, this would be a good chance to look at something that's related to that franchise. If you're not aware, Rathalos here, it's from a game called Monster Hunter. And as the name suggests, you go around hunting various monsters, taking their parts, and crafting equipment out of them. So Rathalos, in particular, is one of the more recognizable monsters from the series. He's often featured on box arts. So this guy loves to fly around, shoot fireball in your face, and poison you with his tail, grab you with his claws, toss you around like a rag doll, and he looks damn cool while doing it. I mean, just look at this guy. It's beautiful. So, if you haven't already guessed, yes, I am a big fan of this franchise, or more specifically, the monsters from the game. And when I noticed that they're selling a figure from it, I knew I had to get myself one. And luckily for me, I was able to get it. This figure, it's roughly 8 inches tall and around 11 inches wide. After playing around with it for a little bit, I would say this thing is pretty sturdy. And if you're worried about the tail drooping over time, worry not. There's a piece of plastic there to kind of keep it up. Although it's with the way it's built, I wouldn't even worry about that. And this thing, it's surprisingly heavy despite its size. I usually take that as a positive since it means the thing is really solid. For something that costs around 8,000 yen, which is roughly $80 American, the details is incredible. Gotta give big props to Ryu Oyama, the sculptor of this figure. Just take a look at that head. You can see all the spikes or scales, whatever you want to call them. That's fine in my books. The sculptor really put in a lot of effort into designing it. And if you look closely, you can see the small ones here too, not just the big ones. And of course, you can see his eyes and the teeth and tongue. And more importantly, this thing. Is that supposed to be his ears? I never noticed that before. Well, if any of you know, let me know in the comments, man. Okay, here from this angle, you can get a good look at his wings. And of course all these wrinkles in between. Lots of them everywhere. Really nicely done there. And of course you can look at the body again. You can see all his scales all along. Very nicely designed. Of course, we can't forget about his tail. The lovely poisonous tail that all hunters probably hated. Honestly, I would say this is the weaker part of this figure. It still looks very nice, you can still see all the spikes. But the white part over here, it's a little lacking in detail. It seems like a bit of an afterthought. But still nice nonetheless. Okay, next we have the base. Overall, I would say it's a nice touch to the figure, although it does feel a little lacking compared to Rathalos himself. If you look at the grass and the rocks or boulders, they barely resemble, grass and rocks. So it's definitely feels like an afterthought compared to the figure itself. So now we know the sculpt is good, with lots of good details in it. But what about the paint job? Well, from what we already seen, we know it's good. And honestly, when I first got this figure, when I first looked at it, I thought, hey, paint job is perfect. After staring at it for a few minutes, I did manage to find a few minor mistakes. There were a few along the black parts over here, very minor. And most noticeably, it's the one on the tip of the tail. You can spot a few black spots of paint over there. But other than that, it looks good. And now, let's take a look at one of the most common and dreaded flaws on any figures out there. The seams. And usually you can tell how well a figure is designed based on how obvious it is or how they hide it. If you want to be really picky about it, you can see one right here. There's a little gap here between the tail and the body. And here's another one, another small gap, not very noticeable, but it is there. Here are two more gaps, the ones between the legs and the torso, and I would say these two are a bit more noticeable, but still pretty well hidden overall. And one more over here between the wing and the body. It runs all the way from up here to the bottom over here. Overall, they did a really good job hiding the seams. It's almost impossible to spot them with a quick glance or if you're looking at it from a distance. So this is it for the Rathalos review. If you're a fan of the franchise, I highly recommend this figure. The price is really reasonable considering the quality. And if you do plan on picking it up, look up Capcom figure builder creators model line. That honestly took me 5 tries to say it. And assuming they make more in the future, I will definitely pick them up. So look forward to more review videos of Monster Hunter figure in the future. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you got time to spare, go check out the Luden's Query podcast I'm part of. I also stream on Twitch. Links will be in the description. And see you guys next time.